What's going on, YouTube? So we're looking at the 75. I finally got everything switched over and got it set up. So as you're looking at it, you can still see I've got the little tubs of crushed coral in here. I haven't had a chance to wash out and boil the crushed coral that I got with the tank. I still need to do it. I've got the sand washed and boiled that I've got, but the crushed coral, I want to get it done. That way I can see how much needs to go down in the sump, and after I get it in there, then the rest of it I could, disperse out in the top of the main tank and cover it over with sand. So what I still also got left to do is I need to replace the small power head right here. I'll just get another one of these guys. It seems to be doing great. Now that I've got it in the 75, I really like the flow that it's got, and I think it's doing great. I also need to replace the heater. I do not like... One, I don't like heaters, point blank. That's why I don't run any on the freshwater. But the freshwater, the temperatures stay a little higher in them. I pretty much can average about from 75 to 78, depending on what season it is. But the salt water, I know it's got to be a little bit more dialed in. So I need to replace the heater, and I don't like a glass heater, and I don't like ones that can't be fully submerged. And this one actually is both. So I need to get new heaters, which I'm thinking about going with the cobalt heaters, the real flat slim ones, and be able to put those down in the sump. That'll clean up, the inside of the tank and make it look a lot cleaner. I've got obviously you can see the overflow boxes in, and the returns. I'll get a little bit closer up of those. I've also got the sump up and running, so I'll get a shot of that here in a second. But I started recording bits and pieces as I was doing the teardown and the setup, and what I thought was going to take, somewhere in the majority of a one day, this Saturday, actually turned into taking over 2 days. And I was really worried about the fish. I basically started tearing everything down about 9:30 Saturday, and I did not put the fish back in the tank until 8 o'clock on Sunday. So I was really worried that the fish were not going to make it. I was trying my best, but it seemed like one thing after another, and it was taking a lot of time, and I just don't get it. I mean, when I bought the tank and moved it, I did it all in a day. Actually, I started, it was probably 12 hours. I started, tearing the tank down at noon at the person's house, and by midnight, I had everything set up, and I was still toying with stuff, so really probably about 10 o'clock. So I'm not really for sure why this took me so long. Yeah, I know I had to unload the 40, then silicone the baffles in it for the sump. I had to do all the hard piping, but I didn't have to move anything a great distance. I stayed in the same room. So anyways, I'm not sure why it took so long, but it did. But everything's doing great. Everything's survived. So I want to get closer to the tank and kind of show what I did. And I'm not really for sure if I like the rock work yet, but I keep looking at it and wondering if I could change something, but I haven't decided yet. I do like that I got a lot of kind of crevices or tunnels that, you know, fish can swim up in and whatever. I think this weekend I'm going to go start getting some of my cleaning crew. You know, start off with peppermint shrimp, obviously, because I do still have some aptasia. So I'll get a peppermint shrimp, then I'm going to get a couple skunk shrimp, and then get some snells and the red and blue-legged hermit crabs. So if you have any more other suggestions, you know, let me know. I'd appreciate the help, but that's kind of from what I've got. I can't remember the name of the snails I'm going to get, but they're the cone shaped. So like I said, if you guys have any more suggestions, let me know. I mean, I know I need to start adding livestock and determining what I'm getting. I think I'm also might going to get a clownfish, and I really want one of the toadstool leather mushrooms. I've always thought those were really cool, so I kind of think that's where I'm going to start. If I get them all this weekend, I don't know, but I'll definitely be trying to get the cleaners. So let's take a closer look. Okay, this is what came with the tank, and when I got them, they were really sucked in and not opening up very much because there was aptasia growing on the rock with them. And I believe these are polyps, but I'm not sure what kind or anything. So if somebody could let me know, I'd really appreciate that. And I think I've pretty well determined that this is a frog spawn. So, but it's really opened up and looking very good now that the lights are on. Both of the fish immediately after maybe being back in the tank for 30 minutes started swimming and checking things out. They were really interested. So you can see the returns. Basically that lock line's 3/4 inch comes into the flatten return and makes a nice little agitation of the water. Here's the other one. You can see how I've kind of rigged up the heater. Not really happy about it, but that's all I know to do right now. So here's the overflow, and this is all that's in the tank. And the hole I drilled is a 1.5 inch, and there's 2 of those. So you can see it's centered right on the middle of the tank. I believe it's 16 inches long and only about 2 inches wide. About 2 inches wide, so you can kind of see in there. By the way, the hole I drilled here is a 1-inch hole. So again, there's the side view. And I really like these overflow boxes. I got this from the same person I got the other one from. And it's not just a rectangle hole for the intakes. On the back side of it is angled down. It seems to make a big difference from ones I've seen. Here's my bean animal system, and I did have a lot of problems with getting it to go. For whatever reason, the 100% or total siphon did not want to push the air out. So I basically had to do like I did on this one and drill a hole, and I didn't put the piece of pipe in it, but I drilled the hole, and as you can see, the water level's over that, so you don't hear the suction. But you do hear a little bit of trickling of water. I'm not really for sure if that's from here or if it's, you know, kind of some water in there, but it might be a mixture of all of it. I don't know how much of the piping you can actually see, but you can see that there's 3 pipes that come out. 2 of them go into true couplings, ball valve couplings, and one of them is reduced by maybe about 10 to 15%, which creates the water to go down the second one just a little bit. And then it's hard to see, but I've got another ball valve or union for the emergency overflow if I ever have to take it off. Then on the return lines, you know, it comes up into this 90, goes down, and got another true union ball valve. And I had to get creative right here. What I wanted basically was a T, but it's actually a Y. This comes off at a 45, and that way I don't have the friction loss that a typical T would have caused going straight out, because I would have had to turn this down to force water to go through the T, and then, you know, 45 did a couple more times to get it to go. Well, this way it's only got to turn 45 degrees, which is a lot more, or a lot less of a reduction. So makes a big difference. Then it goes in there, and you can kind of see how those go. So let's look up under the sump. Okay, so this is just a wide view of the sump, but as you can see, I mean, obviously I know more stuff's going in here, but for right now, we you know, we have the area for basically the equipment, the pump, the heaters, the lines for the top off, auto top off, and dosing. When I get to that, the middle one will also obviously be where my refugium is, and then the first one is just where my lines come in from the overflow and my skimmer. So let's get a little closer. So you can see where the lines come in. They come in and go down, and I've actually got them where they go under the water a few inches. That way, you know, you don't hear the running of the water. And the emergency, it's got quite a ways before it hits the water. Then we've got the skimmer, and if this skimmer was any taller, or this tank or stand was any shorter by not even probably an inch, this thing would not have fit under here. I would have had to reconfigure the stand even more than what I already did to get the support to hold the tank. But I got it up under here. So as you can see, there's my pump, and originally the airline tubing went through here, and I just bypassed that. And when I bought the pump, it came with this right here, and you can turn that and reduce the air or increase the air. So I put that on there, and you can see the skimmer at some point has foamed all the way to the top. Now I'm not sure why it's reduced back down, but it did. So I'm still not just 100% on how my skimmer's set up, or something I'm doing wrong. I don't know. But what I've basically got is a cobalt needle wheel valve or pump. So it comes into here. The air is, you know, this tube, which is hooked to this guy again, and then it goes up to there, and it goes into the pump, and you can see it's got quite a bit of air bubbles going through there. And I've got the water line set about right here at this orange ring, so you kind of get the idea what we're looking at. And this is where you can adjust how much, where your water level's at. So you turn that, and the water level moves up and down. And then I've got this line that comes back down into the refugium area, because I didn't want, you know, it to keep just pumping the skimmed water right back into here, and then, you know, just keep re-skimming the same water. So I returned the water back into the refugium area, so it can move on now. But I'm not really for sure if I've just not got something dialed in right, if it's not getting enough air, if it's getting too much air. But I'm still trying to play with that. If you guys got any ideas, let me know. This line over here, it actually, whatever is skimmed off, instead of it just sitting in this cup, it actually comes over into this tube. And then you can't really see it, but there's a 2-liter bottle back there. That's all about I could fit back there. So, but that goes into there, and then I can pull that out and pour that out. Right now I've got his 2 pieces of live rock down in here in the refugium, but you know, at some point I'll get some Cheetah and some LEDs and get that stuff growing. And then here I've got this pump. This is actually the pump I had on my 225 for the reactor, but I'll just replace it. I hadn't had it up and running yet because I still haven't got my CO2 bottle, but it's the Lifeguard 4000. It does almost 1,100 gallons per hour, so you know, it's probably pushing more around like 800 gallons per hour by the distance it's got to travel up. This baffle right here is actually a little bit wider. I've got some plastic filter pad or filters. It's plastic filter mesh, and I found it on Dr. Foster and Smith, but it's a really fine mesh, and you can just keep re-washing it and reusing it. I'm going to cut a piece of that and put it in this bigger baffle, but these are all an inch apart right here, and then you know, I separated them into 1 foot increments each area. And then we just you know, polyethylene or silicone, I'm not sure, a plastic tubing, barbed fitting goes to the top of the tank. I wanted that to actually be braided plastic pipe, but they didn't have any in when I went to go get it, so probably at some point I'll switch that out. But that's basically the sump. Yeah, that skimmer still blows my mind. I don't understand it, so if you guys can help me out and give me some ideas of what I might be doing wrong, or am I just not being patient enough. It's been running for, well, it ran overnight, so it's probably been running over 12 hours now. So enough about the sump. What haven't I showed you guys? Oh, how I've got the light rigged up. Again, I'm using that T5HO, and basically what I done is just, you know, screwed that to the side of the tank, comes up, and you know, it's one of these hang bars like this, and I've just got, you know, the metal hook stuff, and that's basically it. It seemed to be working on the 40 gallon. Had it a little bit closer to the 40 gallon, and I was starting to get a bit of algae, but again, I don't have a cleaning crew, so that's probably part of the problem. But I decided to lift it up a little bit, plus to try to reduce on any splatter I might get. But yeah, so here's the 75 now. So I'm going to start, like I said, getting livestock. If you guys have any suggestions for me, let me know. I've already got a couple suggestions, but video's getting long. I just want to show you guys where I was at. Sorry I didn't get much of tearing down and everything, but like I said, I was getting a little overwhelmed how long it was taking, and I had the camera up recording, but after a while, it was just like, okay, this is going to take way too long, and I can't deal with all this video. But I don't know how entertaining it would have been if I did done a time lapse or whatever. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Shoot me some suggestions, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.